Hello students, in previous lecture of OC, we have completed one topic in chapter number 1, nature, purpose and scope of business. Scope of business, chapter 1. We have completed one topic, meaning of business, and its characteristics. Meaning of business: business is an economic activity. Business is an economic activity which is undertaken in order to earn a profit. That is called business. Characteristics we have completed. First is, total there are 7 or 8 points in your textbook, but we have completed 5 points. First one is profit. Second, exchange of goods and services. Exchange of goods and services. And third one is creation of utility. Creation of utility. Fourth one is risk and uncertainty. And fifth one is requirement of money. Requirement of money. Beside this, continuance of activity and economic means objective. This total 5 explanation I have completed. Profit, exchange of goods and services, creation of utility, next risk and uncertainties, requirement of money. Beside this, 2 more points are there: continuance of activities and main objective means economic gain. So first topic is completed, definition and characteristics. Today new topic we are going to start, that is objective of business. Whenever business is established either at small level or medium level or large scale, every business has certain objectives, and these objectives are classified into 3 different categories. Topic is objectives of business. These objectives are classified into 3 categories. One is economic objectives, second one is social objectives, and third one is others, means other objectives. Economic objectives, social objectives and other objectives. Total how many objectives are there in business? Economic objectives, then social objectives and then other objectives. These are the different parts of objectives. Now first of all, economic objectives. Economic objectives. So it has different sub points. First point is profit. Second point is wealth maximization. Wealth maximization. And third, other economic objectives. Now first point, profit. Explanation of profit we have already done. The main objective of every business unit is to earn profit. The main objective, main motive of every business unit is to earn profit. Reason, profit is the most important element in business. most important element in business. Reason, once again same explanation which we have done in the previous lecture. Most important element in business. Reason is only by earning profit business can think about its expansion. Business can bring modification, modernization in their business. By earning profit they are able to fulfill various responsibilities towards society. By earning profit they are able to adopt new technology. By earning profit they are able to bring quality in their goods and services. As a result, their reputation rises. So profit is very important. Only by earning profit they can think about expansion also, establishing new branches or expanding their existing business. That's why profit is very important element in business. Now another point is wealth maximization. Now what is wealth maximization? Profit is short-term concept. Now first of all, why it is a short-term concept? Because every year business unit decide certain percentage to earn. Certain percentage is decided by the business unit, then they are trying to utilize those resources in that direction and try to, for example, they have decided to earn 10% profit this year. So whatever resources they have, they try to utilize all those resources in the best possible manner and try to achieve or earn 10% profit this year. 10% means as compared to previous year. Whatever profit they had earned previous year, 10% more than that profit they try to achieve, they try to earn this year. So whatever percentage we are deciding to earn profit, that is for 1 year. That's what is called short-term concept. So earning profit is a short-term concept. Next year again we will decide 10% or more than that, 15%. Means for every year we are deciding a certain percentage to earn profit. But what is wealth maximization? First of all, it is a long-term concept. Long-term concept. Why it is a long-term concept? By earning profit year by year. Our intention here means the motives, the objective of business unit is also to increase their properties, their assets. So in order to increase their properties, assets, cash, bank balance, they have to, it is compulsory for them to earn profit year by year. Means profit must be constant. Means in order to earn constantly profit, only when they are able to earn profit year by year continuously, then only they are in a position to increase their properties, to increase their assets, furniture. Means how? By expanding their business. If they are able to expand their business, we can say their wealth, their property is increasing. So by expanding their business or by establishing another branch in another city, in this way they can maximize their wealth. So when they are able to earn a profit, means profit is the base for wealth maximization. If they are able to earn profit year by year, then after few years they are able to expand their business. Means expansion is possible. And expansion means increase in wealth. Here wealth means all types of assets. Increasing all types of assets. If they have 2 plant and machinery, they are able to set up another new plant and machinery. If they have certain percentage of furniture, for example, they have furniture of 50 lakh. Now by establishing another branch, their total furniture becomes 1 lakh 52 lakh. So in this way they are increasing all types of assets. So when they are able to expand their business, means expansion of business is possible due to profit. If they are able to set new branch, set up of new branch. So expansion of business, growth of business, setup of new branch in some other city or in the same city, all these things are possible when business units are able to earn profit constantly. That's why we can say profit is the base for wealth maximization. Profit is the base of wealth maximization. So only by earning profit year by year, we are able to, or business units are able to increase their wealth, means they are able to maximize their wealth after few years. That's why it is called long-term concept. Once business units are in a position to increase their wealth, then they have to maintain the same property in the business, same assets in the business. That's why it is called long-term concept. And third point is other economic objectives. Here economic objectives means objectives which are related with money. So other economic objectives. For example, other economic objectives may be to capture a big share in the market. First point, to adopt new technology into the business. Third, to provide different incentives to their employees. These are the different or other economic objectives. To capture a big share in the market means they try to, by selling quality goods and services, they try to increase the number of consumers. Increasing the number of consumers means they are trying to capture a big share in the market. To adopt, and this is possible only when they are able to provide quality goods and services. And providing quality goods and services is possible only when they are able to earn profit, maximum profit. Second, to adopt a new technology. Whenever new technology is introduced in the market, if business units are financially strong, they are financially sound, then they are able to adopt that new technology. Means adopting new technology is also possible only when they are earning profit. To provide different incentives to their employees, for example, bonus, commission, provident fund, or any other compensation. If they try to provide such type of incentives to their employees, so that employees remain satisfied and stay in the same organization for a longer period. Because nowadays employees are treated as invaluable assets. Because employees are one of the most, they are the only living part of that business unit. Employees are the living portion of the business unit. Machineries are non-living, raw materials are non-living. Who are utilizing machineries or raw materials? Employees or workers. That's why it is the responsibility of business unit to provide maximum satisfaction to their employees in the form of by paying commission, by paying bonus or gifts on some occasions, by increasing they must increase their salary after regular interval. Beside this, other incentives, for example, medical facilities should be given to employees. Accommodation facilities, many organizations are also providing accommodation facilities. So different types of incentives should be given by business unit to their employees in order to make them more and more satisfied. So the objective of business unit, other economic objectives, to capture a big share in the market, means to increase the number of consumers. How? By providing quality products and services at reasonable price. Then to adopt new technology. Adoption of new technology is possible only when they have sufficient fund. That's why it is also known as economic objective. And to provide different incentives to their employees, invaluable, because they are invaluable assets for the business unit. That's why it is the responsibility of business unit to provide different types of incentives, like to pay bonus, commission to their employees, or to increase their salary after regular interval, to provide entertainment facility or canteen facility in the organization, to provide accommodation facilities to their employees, to provide medical services to their employees, even though if their salary is low. But if we are able to provide, business units are able to provide all such type of facilities to employees. So employees try to remain in the same organization for a longer period. They remain loyal to the business unit and try to put their efforts for the business unit. These are the different economic objectives in business. Profit, wealth maximization. Wealth maximization means maximize, increasing the property, assets, cash, bank balance of business. And how it is possible? It is a long-term concept. Earning profit year by year, they are able to utilize the profit for the expansion of business, for adopting new technology, for setting up new branch in some other city or in the same city. In this way, they can increase their property. This is called wealth maximization concept, and it is a long-term concept. Other economic objectives means objectives which are related with money. In order to fulfill these objectives, money is required to capture a big share in the market, to adopt a new technology into the market, to provide different incentives to their employees. The economic objective is completed. Next one is social objectives. Social objectives. In social objectives, first one is fulfilling social responsibilities. Social responsibility. Second one is fulfilling social responsibility. First point is. Then second, providing employment opportunities. Employment opportunities. Third one is providing quality goods and services. Fourth one is adopting fair trade practices. Fair trade practices. These are the social objectives of any business unit. Fulfilling social responsibility, providing employment opportunities, then providing quality goods and services, and fourth one is adopting fair trade practices. Now first one is fulfilling social responsibility. We all know that every business unit has different stakeholders. Who are stakeholders? Stakeholders are those part of society or group of society who are attached with business directly or indirectly. Means they have interest. Group of individuals have interest with this business in any form. For examples, different stakeholders are government, creditors, customers, investors, bankers. These are the different groups who are attached with this business unit. Means they have interest in the business. Why? Because government has to collect tax from this business unit. Creditors, they have to receive their amount. Means business unit has purchased goods on credit from these individuals or group of individuals. So business unit needs to purchase. Another important party is group is employee. Creditors are those individuals to whom money is to be returned by the business unit, because business unit has purchased goods on credit from creditors. So they have to return the amount. Customers, we all know, Business units are producing goods or providing services to whom? To customers. Only by earning more and more customers, they are able to capture a big share in the market. Business units can build up their reputation. Business unit can build up their goodwill in the market only when they are able to increase the number of consumers. So customers are stakeholders. Investors, those who are investing money into the business by purchasing share, by purchasing debenture, or by giving loan to the business unit. These individuals are called investors. Then investors needs return on that investment. Whatever amount invested by investors wants some return on that investment. For example, if investors has purchased share, so in return they want a dividend. Dividend is a part of profit. Bankers, any bank who has given loan to the business unit, so bankers need interest. They want interest from business unit and principal amount after a specified time period. Employees, those who are providing services to this business units, so they also want some return in the form of salary, salary or wages. So every party here, stakeholders, government or creditors or customer, they want some return from business. That's why means they are attached with business. That's why they are called stakeholders. So now come to social objectives. First is fulfilling social responsibility. So it is the responsibility, duty or objective of business unit to fulfill the requirements of all those groups, all those stakeholders who are attached with business directly or indirectly. Means they have to pay the tax to government timely, they need to return the amount to creditors timely, they are supposed to produce quality goods at reasonable price for their customers. Means at any cost they need to satisfy their customers. They need to pay the returns to the investors timely. They need to pay the loan amount along with interest to the bankers timely, and they need to pay salary or wages to their employees who are providing valuable services for the business unit. So it is the responsibility of business unit to fulfill the social responsibility towards different groups who are related with business. Second one is providing employment opportunities. When any business is established, many individuals are trying to join with this business, and in this way this business gives job opportunities to various individuals. In the same way, when business units expands after a few years, after some time, business expands or they are setting up new branches, it means they are creating job opportunities for many individuals. So one of the objective of business unit is to generate more and more employment opportunities for different types of individuals on the basis of their qualification, skill, experience. Next, providing quality goods and services. By providing quality goods and services at reasonable price. Providing quality goods and services at reasonable price. This is also one of the objective of business unit. They always undertake research for their goods or services. Undertake research means here they are always trying to produce goods with the scientific method so that they are able to provide goods in better quality. Better quality that is also at reasonable price, so that maximum customers can use that product. That's why they always try to conduct research. Continuous research is undertaken for that particular goods, and after this research they try to provide quality goods to their customers, to their consumers, so that number of customers increases. Along with that, they try to deliver or they try to sell goods even to poor or very poor consumers also, so that their number of consumers increases. That's why we can take one example. Bournvita, we know all Bournvita energetic powder. Earlier Bournvita was very costly and only middle class or rich class are able to purchase Bournvita. Means poor families or very poor families cannot afford Bournvita. But after conducting research by business unit, they had brought that Bournvita into a sachet also, into a packet also. So into a packet and keep a low price. For example, 10 rupees. One packet is equal to 10 rupees. So that even poor or very poor class can also afford or can also buy Bournvita. That's why every business unit try to cover mass consumers. Mass consumers means they try to increase their number of consumers. In this way, they can capture a big share in the market. So by providing quality products and services that is also at reasonable price, they can capture a big share in the market, means they can get maximum number of consumers for their product. So this is one of the objective of business unit. Now, adopting fair trade practices. Fair trade practices means we all know that consumers are large in group for any particular commodity, for any particular product. Consumers are large in numbers. Large in numbers. And first point is they are large in numbers. Second one is they are unorganized. They are unorganized. They are unorganized means whenever any consumer is cheated by a producer, consumers are not united. They are not coming into group and take action against the producer or seller. It means they are unorganized. And since they are unorganized, that's why not all, but some business units are taking the advantage of this large numbers and unorganized of consumers. They are taking the advantage. How? They are adopting unfair trade practices. They are adopting unfair trade practices. Now, what is unfair trade practices? Unfair trade practices means wrong methods, wrong techniques which business unit is adopting in order to cheat consumers, in order to exploit consumers for earning huge profit. Means they try to adopt shortcut method to earn huge profit, and for this purpose they are exploiting consumers, they are cheating consumers. How? For example, by adopting black marketing method. Black marketing method. Second, charging higher price than MRP. Charging higher price than MRP. MRP means maximum retail price, which is decided by government, but they are charging more than that MRP. Second, artificial scarcity. Artificial scarcity. Scarcity means shortage. Means they are making a rumors in the market that there is a shortage of that particular goods, and then after that they are charging higher prices for the same product. So black marketing, black hoarding, charging higher prices than maximum retail price, artificial scarcity. In this way they are adopting unfair trade practices to cheat consumers, to exploit consumers in order to earn huge profit. That's why according to social objective, this is the social objective of every business unit to adopt fair trade practices. Fair trade practices means they must follow the business ethics. Business ethics means they must provide quality goods and services to consumers at a reasonable price. Not only to provide goods and services at reasonable price, after selling goods, they must solve the queries of customers also, so that they will get maximum satisfaction. Consumer will get maximum satisfaction by purchasing the goods. For example, in automobile sectors, even after selling bike, car, companies providing free services. In some companies 5, in some companies 10, they are providing free services to their customers. Why? Even after sale they are providing services to the customer. It means they are adopting fair trade practices. Their intention is not to cheat their customers, not to exploit their customers. Means they are not adopting black marketing, charging higher prices, or they are not creating artificial scarcity. So every business unit, this is the social objective of every business unit, to adopt fair trade practices. Whatever rules and regulations government has enacted, business unit should follow those rules and regulation. Within the boundary of that rules and regulation, they must produce goods or provide services to the consumers. So these are the objectives, social objectives of business unit. Beside this, other objectives. Other objectives. Now, other objectives may be, first, to assist government in their developmental program. To assist government in their developmental program means whatever program government has introduced, different types of projects, different types of plans governments are introducing time to time for economic development. For example, they have introduced a new project so that poverty can be reduced, unemployment can be reduced, or government has introduced a plan in which they are trying to provide irrigation facilities to maximum farmers. So different types of plan or projects government is introducing time to time. So this is the responsibility of business unit to assist them, to help the government so that development program can take place at a faster rate. Second, to provide financial assistance. To provide financial assistance at the time of any crisis. This is the objective or responsibility of social responsibility of business unit, to provide financial assistance whenever country is passing through any crisis. For example, right now every country in the world, right now we are talking about India, so India is passing through financial crisis because a huge amount is spent on the treatment in order to fight against coronavirus. A huge amount has been invested by the government. That's why there is a shortage of funds with Prime Minister, with government. That's why it is the responsibility of various business units to provide financial help to the government. We have heard that Tata company has given 1500 crore, Akshay Kumar has given 25 crore. This is called financial assistance given by different parties, different business units, time to time or at the time of any crisis. Whenever any natural calamities or any kind of risk occurs in the country, so it is the responsibility of business unit to provide every type of financial assistance to the government so that development should not stop. Beside this, third, to provide canteen facilities, accommodation facilities, medical facilities, or education facilities to their children, to the children of employees. Education facilities, so in this way business units can also fulfill the various other requirements of employees by providing canteen facilities where they can get lunch, breakfast at cheaper rate, accommodation facility. Accommodation means रहने के लिए घर, housing facilities. We can say in simple language housing facilities. Then medical facilities so that they can get treatment or other medical facilities at cheaper rate. Then education facilities to their children. So in this way, the business units can fulfill the requirements of government or other parties by fulfilling their responsibilities. So these are the different responsibilities or objectives of business unit. Economic objectives, then social objectives, and then other objectives. In economic objectives, we have done profit, wealth maximization, and other economic objectives. Then in social objectives, we have completed fulfilling social responsibility. Fulfilling social responsibility means they have to fulfill the social responsibility to different groups of individuals who are the part of society. This part of society is called stakeholders. For example, bankers are the part of society. Customer is a part of society. Employees is also a part of society. So this is the responsibility of business unit to fulfill the interest of all different part of society, means stakeholders, by paying them salary, by paying them tax, by paying them interest. So this is the responsibility of business unit to fulfill the social responsibility. Second, to provide quality products at a reasonable price to their customers so that they can capture a big share in the market. Then to create employment opportunities by establishing business, by expanding business, by establishing new branch in the same city, in the same area or in some other area, they can generate more and more employment opportunities for individuals. And then adopting fair trade practices means they are following rules and regulation introduced by the government. They are following business ethics. They are not exploiting consumers. They are not doing any kind of cheatings with the consumers. It means, in other words, we can say they are providing quality products at reasonable price to their customers. They are fulfilling all other social responsibilities which we have done in the earlier point. They are fulfilling all social responsibility. Beside this, they are assisting government in their developmental program. They are also providing financial assistance to the government at the time of crisis. In this way, they are adopting all types of fair trade practices. Then other objectives. These are the other points which business are fulfilling for the society or for the government or for the employees. Next simple topic, short topic is types of risk. Another new topic is types of risk. Types of risk. This topic, in short, we have already done in previous lecture. Types of risk. There are different types of risk or uncertainties which may arise in business, and such risk and uncertainties are the part of business. When we are establishing business, we know that different types of risk or uncertainties may arise in future, and it will affect our business negatively. It will affect our business adversely. That's why at the time of establishing business, at the time of starting business, we have to accept those risks and uncertainties. These are the part of business. So different types of risk are, one is man-made risk. Man-made risk. Risk which are created by a man or group of individuals, individual or group of individuals, which may have a negative effect on business. Such risk is called man-made risk. Risk which arises by human being and it has negative effect on business. That is called man-made risk. Another we know, natural risk. Natural risk. Now, natural risk means risk which are created by nature. For example, natural risk, heavy rainfall, heavy hailstorm, earthquake, then tsunami, flood. These are all natural calamities, and these natural calamities is called natural risk. These are creating risk for the business unit, and on such risk, business unit has no control. Business unit has no control, and this type of risk damage the property, damage the assets of the business unit, means affecting business negatively. So natural risks are those risks which are created by nature This is also known as natural calamities. For example, heavy rainfall, earthquake, heavy hailstorm, tsunami, flood, drought. On such type of risk, means in case of natural risk, business unit has no control over it. Business unit has no control over it. And such type of risk may damage the assets of the business to a larger extent. Damage the assets to a larger extent. Now, man-made risk which are created by, arised by human being. A human being may be employees, may be other partner, may be government, may be competitors, may be another third party like thieves. So any risk which is created by human beings is called man-made risk, and examples of such risk are carelessness. Due to carelessness of employees, business unit has to face a huge loss. Carelessness or negligence. Another word is negligence. Besides this, loss due to fire, loss due to fire, loss due to theft, theft occurs, theft is done by thieves, and it occurs, loss due to fire or loss due to theft, due to the carelessness or negligence of employees. Negligence of employees means here security guards or employees. So due to carelessness or negligence, such type of loss can be faced by the business units. Loss due to fire, loss due to theft. Besides this, strike of employees. These are the examples of man-made risk. Strike of employees. Whenever employees goes on a strike in order to fulfill their demand from their employer, during that time business unit has to, means during that time production totally stopped, and as a result business unit has to face a huge loss. So strike of employees is an example of man-made risk. Besides this, government policies. Whenever government policies or government is introducing any policy, such policies may reduce the profit of a particular business unit, or sometimes business unit has to face a huge loss whenever government is introducing any particular policy. Besides this, competitors policy. Competitors means here rivals. Whenever two or more than two companies are there, two business units are there, and they are producing the same product, it means they are in competition. They are rival of each other. That's why if one company is introducing any plan, any new project, they are introducing any new strategy. So introduction of new strategy, new plan by one company affects negatively the other company. For example, if Jio company is introducing any plan, Reliance company is introducing any new plan regarding their SIM, then it may affect other companies like Airtel, Vodafone negatively. So one competitor's policy may affect the profit, may affect the reputation of another company. These are risks. Besides this, we have done in economics taste and preference of consumers. Taste and preference of consumers. Taste and preference of consumers changes time to time on the basis of their preference, on the basis of their importance. For example, when exam comes near, students are giving more preference to textbook, study material. That time demand for such books increases, such textbook increases, and demand for other materials, other goods and services reduces. These are the different examples of man-made risk. But such risk can be reduced. Such risk can be reduced means they are in the control of business unit. By taking preventive steps in advance, they can reduce or they can stop such type of risk. These are the difference between man-made risk and natural risk. Natural risks are those risks which are created by nature, and on such risk business has no control. And examples are heavy rainfall, heavy hailstorm, earthquake, tsunami, flood, drought. These are the examples of natural risk, and such risk may damage the assets of the business to a larger extent. So far as man-made risks are those risks which are created by human beings. Examples I have given: loss due to fire, loss due to theft, then competitors' policy, government policy, change in demand, change in price, then change in taste and preference of the consumer, change in income of the consumer. These are all man-made risks, but such risk can be reduced or prevented to a larger extent by adopting preventive steps in advance. Second topic, types of risk, is completed. Till then, goodbye.